نجدد الحمد لله ونثني بالصلاة على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد أحبتي في الله، نعيش مع كتاب الله مع قوله سبحانه من سورة الفجر: فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن، وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن. These verses number 15 and 16 from Surah Al-Fajr, and a simple meaning for this was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Exalted said. And as for mankind, when his Lord tries him and thus is generous to him and favored him, he says, my Lord has honored me. He's proud rather than grateful, attributing the favor of his own merit. But when he tries him and restricted his provision, he says, my Lord has humiliated me. فأما الإنسان، هذا لفظ عام يدخل فيه المؤمن والكافر وما إليه، والانتقال من الكلام عن الأمم إلى الكلام عن الأشخاص، لأن صلاح أو فساد الأمم منوط بصلاح أو فساد الأشخاص، فإذا كثر فساد الأشخاص فسد المجتمع. ولهذا الأمر مهم أن نركز على إصلاح الفرد حتى ينصلح المجتمع، وهذه فائدة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started these ayat by mentioning the character of the individual, the character of mankind, a human being. And he spoke about that after he spoke about nations. And we have to understand that corruption or correctness or good situation of the nations, that it's based on the individuals. So when the individual acting in the right way, that will have a good impact in the whole society. And when they act in a bad way, that's affecting the whole society. So it is very important that we go back, and if we want to correct any society from any corruption, that we have to correct the mind of the individuals and work on that. And that's really important. The people of fasad nowadays, the people of corruption, they understand that more than us. And that's why they work on changing the narrative and changing the mind of people by focusing on the individuals. Especially those are growing up, the kids. They didn't care much about the older one because they get older with their habit, good or bad. So they didn't care much about it. Now, if they want to affect the society, they're working on those ones. And you have seen, they are focusing more like in elementary schools and primary schools to instill their ideologies and their corruptions, because that's what they know that's where affected most. They didn't care much even about the high schooler and other ones. We have seen in the last few days some of that effect. That's where they're insisting that, kids in grade schools, they put in their mind many bad things, because that's when they know if any change in society, you have to work on those ones. And anyway, Now, generally speaking, the individual matters in their ideology, in their way of thinking, that affecting the whole society. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's addressing every individual. He's addressing human being, regardless they are Muslims or non-Muslims. That's a fact. Because how the society formed, society is a number of families, and what's families? They are individuals. So going back to the individuals. A lot of people, they want to change, and they go in the top of the pyramid. You know, they said, you know what? Our corruption because of our maybe top leaders or something, you know, or the system. If there is corruption because of the individuals, because of, you know, the masses, you know, that's, you know, the corruption. And correcting that, the whole society will correct. So we have to work, you know, in that direction. And that's actually what the Prophet doing. They are teaching people. When they teach them the right teaching, then they grow in faith and they will make the change in the whole society. So they start with individuals. That's very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَمَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمَنِ وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانَنِ. نلاحظ أن هناك نوعان من الابتلاء. كثير من الناس يظن أن الابتلاء بالشر دون الخير، ولكن الابتلاء كما قال سبحانه ونبلوكم بالشر والخير فتنة وإلينا ترجعون. وفي الحقيقة الابتلاء بالعطاء أشد من الابتلاء بالحرمان. عندما يعطي المولى سبحانه وتعالى بعض الناس فهذا امتحانهم أشد، لأن هذا نوع من الاستدراج. يقول سبحانه سنستدرجهم من حيث لا يعلمون وأملي لهم إن كيدي متين. يقول سبحانه ولا يحسبن الذين كفروا أنما نملي لهم خير لأنفسهم إنما نملي لهم ليزدادوا إثما ولهم عذاب مهين. يقول سبحانه أيحسبون أنما نمدهم به من مال وبنين نسارع لهم في الخيرات بل لا يشعرون. If you notice in these two ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, despite the situation that He was giving them or holding on them, not giving them, Allah used the term ibtila, you know, tries them, testing them, you know, which it's very important that to have that understanding, because most of people thinking that the real trial when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preventing something from you, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not giving you, this is the test. But Allah was testing us in both situations, by giving and by not. And harder test when Allah is giving you. When Allah is giving you, that's harder test than not giving you. Some people say, you know what? Oh, how is harder? Allah has given His blessing upon us, you know, and we're happy with that. No, that's the harder test. Because the ni'mah could spoil you. Ni'mah could change you, could take you away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not gonna be grateful and thankful. And that's why the rich person and he's thankful is better than the poor and he's patient. Because in order that he'll be thankful, he's fighting himself. He's trying his best. The other one, there's no much option for him. He has to be patient. So it's easier test. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will mention about those one Allah giving them, is giving them to test them, to make istidraj for them. It's not for their favor. It's another part of the test. Either they pass it or not. That's why do not think of the ni'mah that you know, that by itself is a ni'mah. No, what's matter is your reaction. So now, health, is it a blessing? Could be, not necessarily. Wealth and health is a blessing? Could be. Anything is a blessing? Could be. It depends on the way how you react, how you are perceive it. Are you going to be thankful or not? So this is the situation that I have looked at it. It's very, very important. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we are going to test him by khair and shar, by both. بالشر والخير فتنة وإلينا ترجعون. قال سبحانه فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن. هل هذه مشكلة يقول ربي أكرمن؟ هو اعترف أن المولى هذا إكرام من الله سبحانه، لكن في الحقيقة هو يتكلم عن أن المولى سبحانه وتعالى أكرمه فأعطاه تلك المنزلة من الإكرام، لكن في نفس الوقت يظن أن هذه النعمة أعطيت له لمزية عنده، ليس إكراما من ربه. فالإكرام المكانة والمنصب وما إليه، فيحس بذلك كأنه يعني يستحق ذلك ولا يستحق ذلك منه الشكر. فالمولى سبحانه وتعالى يعني يمتحنه في ذلك، فيظن أنه مفضل على غيره، لأن المولى سبحانه وتعالى هو الذي تفضل عليه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in this ayah that we have given men both, ikram and ni'mah, that have favored, them, and we honor them. And he was said, like, my Lord honored me. So in terms of honor, he said, my Lord honored me, But about all other things, he never been thankful to it. Why is that? Because that's a sign of arrogance. He think that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what he give him because of himself. Because, he's the one deserve it, and that's favored of his own merit, because he's special. See the trick in a way? He might return part of it to Allah, said, okay, that honor from Allah, and that's it. Do not even talk to me of something else. However, other things, that's from my knowledge, from my power, from, that's for me. Where that's a sign of kibr, which we have to be careful. So sometimes mentioning the bliss of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's needed. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. You mention what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala favored on you, and saying it, that will humble you. It's very important. Mention it. Share it with your kids, and tell them that's all that the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وأما إذا امتلاه فقدر، قدر أي كل بحسابه، فمكتوب هذا وهذا، بمعنى أنه ضيق عليه. كيف هذا؟ يقول سبحانه في سورة الأنبياء وذا النون إذ ذهب مغاضبا فظن أن لن نقدر عليه، فظن أن لن نقدر عليه، أن لن نضيق عليه. تمام؟ نقدر بمعنى نضيق. فالتقدير هنا بمعنى أن هناك حساب محدد معين، فكان أعطي شيئا ثم نقص ذلك منه، فإذا التقدير هنا بمعنى التضييق، أن لن نقدر عليه فنادى في الظلمات. هنا وأما إذا ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه. There is a word in the ayah called قدر. قدر, it means like it was restricted. So something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala written with certain limit. There are certain limits. So you can say that it was squeezed or was restricted. So the word qadara, it comes from that way. So if something was given to somebody and that later on was taken away from him after being given to him. So maybe it's not like, from the beginning he doesn't own it to have it. No, he has it, but then was restricted or was taken away from him. So what he would say in this situation, فيقول ربي أهانا. يظن ذلك أن هذا من باب الإهانة له. لا، هو ليس إكراما أو إهانة، وإنما هو كله تفضل منه سبحانه وتعالى، يفعل ما يريد سبحانه وتعالى، فعال لما يريد. فهذه علامة كبر. والحقيقة أن بعض حتى من ينتسب للإسلام عنده هذا المفهوم وهذا الخطأ. يعني عندما يضيق المولى سبحانه وتعالى عليه تراه يظن أن ذلك إهانة له، ويظن ذلك أن ذلك علامة غضب من الله سبحانه وتعالى، أو أنه لا يستحق كل ذلك، ولماذا أنا، ولماذا يفعل بي كذا. فتراه يضيق بهذا الحال ذرعا، وربما يقول أو يفعل ما لا يرضي الله سبحانه وتعالى. So when that situation happens, when a restriction happens, he might feel that it's a sign of humiliation. He's not saying that, as a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and might be that good for him. You never know. Maybe a sign of discipline. Maybe that's a part of this trial of this life, part of the test. But he thinks that's humiliation because he cannot accept that he doesn't have all of those means that God at the first place was giving him. So he's thinking that from his own, okay, but it's not yours. That Allah can give it to you anytime and take it away from you anytime. And that actually attitude, that's not only for the kuffar, even some of the Muslims, when Allah not giving them what they want, they think that's a sign of a humiliation. They think they didn't deserve that. They complain against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very bad. Some of our kids, if they didn't have the same as their friends, were the brand names, clothes and shoes, they feel down. They didn't feel that, as others. If their fathers driving old car, they said to them, okay, can you please drop me here? Before, like, even his friends see that, old car, they didn't feel that good and proud. They feel humiliated. If they didn't have, like, the latest game or PlayStation, they didn't feel that have been favored. So look at their, way how they look at honor and humiliation about all these material things. In the society, when the society became materialistic, that's what taking away the spirituality. And that's what's happening in this life. What's happening this time. There's no much balance between the material life and the spiritual life. We have issues. Even we do sometimes ritual things, but doesn't have a spiritual in it. Do you find a lot of people, they might give away and donate, so they do something, but there's no much impact in their spirituality. So whatever situation that you have, that should increase your spirit. So you should have a good spirit that you are being given or being taken away from you. You are being like, having something in your hand or you have nothing. That should always give you spirit and make you feel that you're rich, because the connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, the society that will be in a good way if people in the society, they carry the right faith. Otherwise, the corruption starts from there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, with the strength of Iman, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the best of understanding. Ameen. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.